What's going on, everybody? Just want to let you know our sponsors going forward for our future episodes. We are sponsored by Red Clover Coffee. So if you go to redclovercoffee.com and type in code IWP at checkout, you'll save 10% site-wide. Also, we are sponsored by Performance Supplements. So if you go over to performancesup with 2ps.com and type in code IWP at checkout, you'll save 15% site-wide. And our third sponsor is we are sponsored by Crunch Fitness up here in Northern California. Thank you, guys. All right, everybody, welcome here. We're going to do an episode with the Maui local over what's going on in the Maui fires and, the corruption going on and a lot of the stuff that people are failing to understand what really is going on over there to the locals and what's been happening. And it's my first and only guest that is over there that can speak on this stuff. So what's going on, brother? I appreciate you coming on here and wanting to speak to everybody and tell what's going on from the inside out. So go ahead and introduce yourself, your name, what you do, if you want to say that, and then, we can just get right into it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kepa. Born and raised here. I'm 37 years old now. So I can tell you a lot about how this island has changed over time. I can tell you a lot about how waterfalls disappeared, streams have gone away.
So the first thing, we kind of talked a little bit offline earlier and then just recently, let's dive into what are your thoughts and other people's thoughts on the whole nonprofit organization that Oprah and The Rock just so-called came out with and only donate. I say only, but respectively in that sense, $10 million in their nonprofit organization to help. So what are your thoughts on that? And speaking for other people as well.
My thoughts on that is first of all, $10 million is no laughing joke. Respect, credit is due where it's deserved, right? But to put into perspective what that really is 10 apartments. $10 million, that's what you can get. 10 apartments. Not houses, not a luxury condo, 10 regular apartments. So as far as that goes, they have a huge platform and there's already a Venmo literally dedicated to go directly to the families. Like you can directly choose what family you want to help. You can even read what their family is going through. Anybody who's listening, it's literally the Lahaina Venmo. Shucks, I'm literally blanking out on.
We can find it afterwards, and I'll put it in the description as well.
Yeah, that one gets me kind of heated. So. But there is an account for people to actually donate to the families. Some of these families don't have medicine. Some of these families can't get their prescriptions, don't have any more money. Some of them were about to get married, like one of my friends. Some of them don't have their kids anymore. They have so much that they have to pay for still yet because they carry on in life. But yeah, I don't understand why they didn't use their platform to go directly to the hands of the families like Oprah had suggested. They could have easily just said, hey, you guys, pick and choose what family you want to donate to. Here's the IG for them. There will be no middleman. There's no overhead for them. Because there's got to be some kind of company and some kind of overhead for that money that's going to take away from these families. I mean, we're thankful for whatever help we can get, but I hope people saw that right there when I said $10 million is 10 apartments, because in some states $10 million is a few houses apparently and 100 acres.
Right. What do you think about on that video that she recorded of herself saying that she was going to make a big donation soon, but she was waiting to see what they were going to do with the land? A lot of people took that in disrespect as well. Like, why aren't you just going to donate, period? And they say that she waited and she was going to make a big donation, and then her teamed up with somebody else. They did 10 million. Some people are saying, again, it's not trying to disrespect the amount, but some people are saying, that's not that big of a donation that supposedly somebody who's worth almost $3 billion, whatever the case may be. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on that, saying when she's like, oh, I'm going to wait to see what they're going to do with the land rather than actually donating and helping initially?
My thoughts on that is like I'm gonna wait and see what they're gonna do with $25 billion worth of land.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm trying to bring into perspective what $10 million is. Like these people that lost everything, they lost, like, say we were playing a game of Monopoly. They
Mm-hmm.
just lost a whole, what is that called? Parkway or whatever.
Yeah, like a whole,
That
yeah.
boardwalk. Yeah, literally. They just lost the most expensive thing, something that could have gave them generational wealth
True.
just by equity, like they could have just been like, oh, you have property over there? Let me help get you ahead. Like that's really a lot. And for her to say that, it's weird. Like I don't want to really speculate too much on that, but it's just like one part of me thinks, well, of course you want to see what they're going to do with the land. You want to see where you can invest your money. But the other part of me is hoping, like, and I might be naive because I really don't think highly of Oprah. I really don't. But another part of me is thinking like, well, what if these people try to get their land taken by the government and she's going to use the money for lawyers to help them fight it?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But I have my doubts that that's the route that they're going to go.
Yeah, because there's they had one of those like conferences or events, I want to say earlier this year over there in Maui in January, and because they're trying to push that 15-minute city, they're trying to push this AI stuff over there and make it like a hub for Maui and be the first ever. And then a lot of people are forgetting that Bill Gates is still involved with Microsoft, still involved with this push because they want more land to set up development. And Governor Green out there gave them the green light to come to the table with essentially blueprints of developments that they are able and allowed to talk about. So for example, in 2021, company came to the table to start building those solar panels essentially in the center of Maui and in all your guys' backyards. They're like building the solar panels. They're building all this up. They want more land. They want to establish this. So it's for anybody like saying that it's not like a land grab is just crazy blind to the situation. And everybody over there, all you guys know this is true. They're trying to do this land grab because, like you said, like Oprah already owns 1,000+ acres. Jeff Bezos owns whatever amount of acres. There's over like 15 to 20 people out there, Hollywood people, in that sense, that own a lot of this land and property. And at the same sense, they just want more. They want to bring more to the table. They want to put more in their portfolio. And, in the sense of all this going on, Green passed that emergency proclamation. It was, what was it, three weeks before the emergency actually happened, which is the fire. So he launched this emergency proclamation before an emergency, and they're saying it was the first ever, like in history, that something like that has ever occurred. And a lot of these insurance companies, people are saying it's not true, but some locals, you could touch base on it, please. But some of these locals are telling me in messages that the insurance companies are not going to pay out because there's a loophole called zone infraction. So because of the damage done to the certain area, they are not, like, these families aren't getting help at all. And the other lady that wants to come on, Amanda Cassidy, that we talked about earlier, she touched base on this stuff too as well, and she was trapped inside that ring of fire and saw all this go down. So what is your experience, and again, your thoughts on this whole land grab insurance stuff? And then at the end, let's talk about the police situation and the roadblocks and how you guys are seeing fresh policemen for the first time that have never been there before, some in unmarked cars, different clothing. So yeah.
So as far as the land grab goes, It was prior to Green. We had a Governor Ige that actually helped set that up for him. Like Alexander, a lot of people don't know Alexander and Baldwin owned a lot of the what used to be sugarcane. And it was just like a couple years ago when their lease was supposed to be up and the land was supposed to go back to the people.
Mm-hmm.
But he ended up extending the lease another 128 years.
Oh, of course he can, right? Just sign a piece of
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah, here. You guys can have it for another 128 years. Right behind all, like to our faces and behind our back at the exact same time.
Jeez.
As far as the insurance goes, I don't know what people are going through per se, but I do have one friend that was saying, like for one day, their insurance company will give them money to rebuild a house.
But not in
They
that
won't give
area.
them, no, they won't give them money to pay off their mortgage or whatever and stuff like that. Like they can't just like no, they have to use the money just for building a house.
So
And the reason why that threw up a red flag is like how can they build a house when they're not allowed in the area?
right.
Like what are they gonna build on? They can't just build on random land. Like they have a place that they have to go build on. Well, that's one instant. But then there's also a lot of people like plantation houses where their mortgage was done. They weren't paying it. The good chance of them not having insurance is high because I don't know if people know what it's like over here, but milk is like $10. That's no joke.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like the price of paradise is real. We call it the paradise tax.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like just I don't know. It's insane. The land grab is insane. It's obvious because over the years we've watched waterfalls disappear. We've watched streams disappear. We've watched our land go from green to brown. I mean, like they call it a drought, and yet we're watching. You can just walk up to certain places, like walk up to where there used to be a stream, and you can see some man-made shit just diverting the water.
All in pipelines, just going somewhere else.
Yeah, just they're like, nah, it's all good. We're just gonna totally take this away.
Where are they moving it to? Where are they trying to control this? Like, where are they taking this like natural source?
You can see a lot of like if people were to come here, you could easily see how many condos are built and stuff. But the thing about over here is it's so expensive that most locals kind of give up and leave.
Right.
We just leave because over there, making $50,000 can actually provide you a good life. Over here, you could make $80,000 and still not have a good life.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insane how much money you really have to make to survive here. People work like 2-3 jobs just to make it. Like that's kind of crazy. And then they got speed limits to make you drive 35 miles an hour, but you got 15 minutes to get from one side of the island or you lose your job. Like it's insane. Some of the things that they can do to hold you down.
So what are your thoughts on, or what do you know about the whole like police thing? Because I know we touched base on this as well. Blocking off roads, you know, you got, like you said, it's a small island. Everybody knows everybody. And then all of a sudden you've got this fresh meat coming in that everyone's like, who are you? What are your routes? We've never seen you before. All of a sudden everybody's showing up right as this like disaster happens. So yeah, let's touch base on that because a lot of people out there do not believe that the police were blocking roads, but I have pictures and proof of them blocking off the roads. I've got videos that I've posted and people are still oblivious to it. And then when you told me that they're policemen that you guys have never seen before, and then another local touched base on that as well, and they said, yes, that is true. So, I mean, it's just adding up. So go ahead and speak on this this policeman stuff that you know.
So as far as the police go, I know so many good guys. Mm-hmm. So many guys that are like, they will go down in the flames to save your life. And I honestly believe the police confusion is literally a tactic right now. The media or that the politicians are using to cause confusion so they don't know who to fight.
Correct.
Because I have one friend who said that he ran through them. He was like, fuck y'all, I'm going through. But there were these black cars and these women in some kind of weird government like looking clothes that he ran through, and they were screaming that they're gonna call the cops. They got his license plate number, this and that, and it's like, wait,
I thought you were cops.
why would they be screaming? Yeah, why would they be screaming that they're gonna call the cops? And why are you blocking the way in that case, though? You know what I mean? So, like, I believe that there were cops that were at the right place at the right time doing the right things that are getting and are catching heat from these people that did it, that had an agenda on their mind and were doing bad things. But the cops that were out there doing the good things are like, hey, you're talking about us right now. And it's like, well, what's the chances that the police chief covered up a shooting in Vegas and didn't tell a few friends, hey, you want to go live in paradise and be a cop? Like, who would turn that down, right? But the thing that you were talking about that can be related to most is a lot of people don't realize that this island is smaller than a small town.
Right.
You know, in America, like, we are small. So, like, we know the cops personally. Everybody knows everybody here. Everybody knows everybody. We know where you're patrolling. We know around what time you're in what area. Like, it's just like that around here. Everybody knows everybody. So I had a lot of friends where their common denominator was they have no idea who the fuck that cop was that was guiding traffic.
I was going to ask you if they had any kind of information on like where are these people at, like why are they trying to regulate any kind of area if they're not like a government official in that sense, because like you said, oh, we're going to call the cops, and you're just like, wait, I thought you were, you know. So
yeah, my friend was staring at his son, terrified, hearing things blow up. He's like, well, I'd rather let them go than let you go. So he just plowed through.
Yeah.
Screw it. You know, it's time to save lives, like especially your own kid. But yeah, that's the thing that didn't make a lot of sense was like Lahaina Luna Road. It's literally a one-way down to Front Street, but there's a bridge to take a left to exit Lahaina. Like, you can literally, it's like a couple minutes away from the exit of Lahaina. And my friend told me that they were blocking that road and telling them to go down to Front Street.
Yep.
And those are the ones where I'm thinking, like, it's got to be the police chief friends. Like, there's no cops that we know that would ever do that, because the chances of all of us being related are way too high. Way too high.
I'm glad you're touching base on this, because I can't, I really want to highlight this for people, because there are a lot of people, man, that are, like you said, they're blaming the good guys because the bad guys are covering up and using the scapegoat of like trying to be a government official, and they're not. And it's giving the good guys a bad rap. And so I keep going, but I'm glad that you're touching base on this.
Yeah, yes, they're not. I know cops that will literally, like, yeah, they'll go down for us, for sure, 100%. Like I said, a lot of them are family to us.
And then
a lot of them are family.
I know we talked earlier too about the whole water situation. I want to cover just a little bit. I know we're probably going to have to make, you know, maybe like a second or a third episode as this kind of as this goes on, because it's all like covering story, and it's like a day-to-day basis. But some people also want to know the truth behind the whole water situation, as most have seen and can kind of put two and two together, but them shutting off the water, and then of course the whole like electrical thing. But what's your info and your knowledge on the whole like water supply thing? I know we touched base on it earlier.
The water thing is that's just dirty. To say that the water is sacred to us, that's why you didn't turn it on, was just dumb. As if we would think that is more sacred than human lives. That's just as dumb as the management guy saying, oh, we didn't sound the sirens because we thought you guys were going to run to the fire.
Yeah, that's so stupid, dude.
if that was the case, why did everyone drive away from the fire and not just drive into it?
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is, like, we would get out of our cars and run in towards a fire. Like, dude, that would be like us driving through, like, Arizona, seeing a fire like miles out, getting out of our car and running towards it through that kind of terrain versus just driving away on a road.
Yep.
Like that, I was blown away. But the thing that I really want people to come together on is the fact that you have to look at the politicians behind. When he said,
Yep.
I have no regrets, there was no emotional response. None.
Mm-hmm.
Any local right now that would see that for the 100th time will still react as the first time, as in, like, they want to, like,
oh,
no,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
no way. Like, I can't believe he just said that. But also, to see no emotional response, to see not a care in the world, to see them look like they're bored.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, reading body language is a thing, but I think a lot of locals right now, they're going through heartbreak. They're losing kids. They're still crying over that. They're camping out right now. There's not a house for them. There's a homeless problem here in Hawaii, a drug problem here in Hawaii that are also hitting these hubs that are meant to help people that were displaced. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of, like, craziness going on. And I honestly believe that this is on purpose, and it's so that these politicians can keep the eyes off of them. Because if they keep everybody fighting within each other, you know, like, that's the perfect distraction. If you got to protect yourself from drug addicts, you got to protect your resources from drug addicts. Of course, now you're just kind of, like, you know, turning in on top of each other, focusing on this, having a scarcity mindset. And mindset will just, boom, that's it. Your mindset goes, you go. There's nothing to hold you up. And these people, like, as strong as they are being, can only take so much of that. And I know people, like, we have one fund I see a lot of people see that's like 2 million something, but like I'm trying to explain to people, like, the news is saying billions of dollars of land is lost. Millions of dollars is not going to recover that. It's not going to help the family.
Not even close.
That's been displaced. Like, that 12 billion that went to Ukraine, or 24 billion that went to Ukraine, if all of that was set here, we would have been okay.
Crazy how that works, right?
Yeah, they know the value of our property, but it's also like FEMA blocking us from helping out. There's Red Cross, like, and, like, people are donating to these people, but when it comes time for them to give it to the people, if you got help from Red Cross, like, so if you were desperate enough to take $1,000 from Red Cross, FEMA's not helping you anymore.
Yeah, how do you think people have to understand, like, that's how they stay in business? Like, those organizations stay in business because people donate to them. You know, like, they're not just gonna be like how are you supposed to stay in business if you donate 100% of everything that you say you do? And it's not true. It's the same thing on the military end. People can go look up the Wounded Warrior Project, like, huge scam, and people donated so much money, hundreds of millions of dollars over the years. And the same thing with, like you're saying, with the with FEMA and Red Cross. It's crazy. Like, in the stories that I've heard from the locals saying that they've tried to come over on boats and they get turned around because the supplies aren't from FEMA directly, and FEMA turns them around. Yeah. Like, why? Like, FEMA is not a government related official in any sense to regulate your guys' land or even your guys' property. And then now, you know, I don't know if it really matters, but of course, all the destruction and the debris, they have crews going out there now with the walls that they're building, because they obviously don't want anybody to see anything and try to kind of control that sense. But I saw a video today of the crews out there, and they're saying now on the news out there, I don't know if it was, is it KHUO or KHOU out there? What is it again?
KHON.
Yeah, KHON. They're saying that these crews going out there now do not need permission from the owners to step on their property to start cleaning and sifting through debris. You know, it's like because of the state of the damage and everything is at, like nobody has control over anything over there anymore.
So here's a crazy thing I want to point out. Our state has been run by strictly Democrats for fucking decades.
Oh yeah.
Decades. And I think only recently they've been able to tie in like the corruption with where our state's been run for like decades now. But oh man, how do I put this? Sorry, I'm not sure how.
No,
to
you're
put
good.
What I don't want to be misunderstood.
No, yeah. So, I think I touched base on this when I went live earlier, but I'm also going to say it on here as well, right before we kind of wrap this up, is that Biden, when he was over there in Maui, he said live at the podium that the nation's leading emergency manager, Bob Fenton, was on ground in Maui weeks before this happened. So why was the nation's biggest leading emergency manager in Maui, specifically in Lahaina, weeks before this transpired? That's where a lot of people have conspiracy issues of what's going on. Also, 3 weeks before this fire happened, they hired 60 plus insurance claim adjusters specifically for Lahaina area, again, 3 weeks before the fire happened. And they were saying that Biden, when he spoke on this, saying that the leading emergency manager in the nation was in Maui weeks before this happened, a lot of people are skeptical as to why were these people already there? Like, why were they already set up and established and in the area, like right before all this happened? So it's like this whole like coincidence thing. Everything is just making too much sense and people are just letting it go over their head. And again, just because you and I and others ask questions, people are like, oh, you're crazy. You're so far Republican. You're so far right, or you're such a conspiracy theorist. But what is wrong with asking a question? You're a human being. You have every right to ask why, what, and where, when. But just because you do, you get frowned upon from these Democrats and these just lunatic liberals that have no idea.
Yeah, it's crazy and unfortunate because, like, I know so many good Democrats. So I started being wiser about the way I worded it. When I say Democrats now, I specifically mention Democrat politicians.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone was trying to call right then and there.
Oh, you're good, man. They try to get on live TV.
So, sorry, what was I just saying?
Talking about like no, you're good. Talking about like the Democrat politicians, like how you say like you're specific with your words and you say Democrat politicians.
Yeah.
Politicians.
Yeah. Because I know so many Democrats that are actually good people, but like they 9 out of 10 times those good people lived a pretty sheltered life.
Yep.
So they wouldn't know a bad person if they came and slapped them on the face, basically.
Right.
To them, everyone's a good person, and we need people like that. Don't get me wrong; that they kind of keep joy in the world, but we also need people to like, protect. You
need people for the people, man. It's like at the end of the day, it's like, people are elected and put into positions not to be corrupt and take over and take advantage of the people. Like, you're here for the people to make everything run smooth and have no crime, secure the borders, make sure everybody is thriving. You take care of the people, it takes care of everybody else, and communities thrive and people flourish and everybody can be in a good mood, but they want to focus so much on the negativity and how to make money and how to take things away from you and try to strip you of your liberties and your constitutional rights. It's just crazy to me that nobody wants to live like this happy lifestyle and be cool about it,
Yeah. Okay. So, like, one crazy thing that people don't realize that they think like, oh, it's politics or blah blah blah, or people can't be that horrible, but it's it's true. Like Hawaii, literally, if you think about it, we're the literal meeting point, the in between point to like countries
Yep.
in the states. Like we're literally that smack dab in the middle. Another thing that makes that a problem is there's no one to check our government. When they want to trample all over us, they can. And for once, like I was telling other people, I'm thankful that they're doing it. They're being so crazy aggressive because back in the days when their predecessors did that, it worked.
Right.
But technology right now is on our end. Oh, and I wanted to tell you about something I almost forgot. But just a couple years ago, the previous governor, they were trying to build a telescope on Mauna Kea, which is basically like the most sacred thing to us.
I didn't see the telescope thing, but I just heard about that sacred land for you guys. I literally heard that today. That's crazy. You just brought that up. So go ahead.
So this is the crazy part. You're correct about FEMA, Red Cross, and the government. Like nobody coming to help. There was fucking nobody. But back in the days, not even back in the days, just 2 years ago, our people were standing on this mountain and refused to let the government build whatever they wanted. We had enough and we were like, fuck this. And people all from Japan to Samoa to Tonga to like UK, like you name it, people all over the world actually flew to sit on this mountain with us.
That's what I'm talking about.
To help us protect what is sacred to us. And the governor at that time made a state of emergency. He used the Coast Guard and the full authority of the military to remove 90-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 70-year-olds from a mountain. He did not have any problems going with the full force of the military to do that, but they can't send them to help us find our dead children?
I'm sure they were there a lot quicker than 7 days.
Oh, no, they were there like hours.
Yeah.
Because it's a 30-minute flight from Oahu for them to get here.
Wow.
It's not far.
Yeah, it's just like the next island over, isn't it? It's Oahu and then Maui, right?
Well, yes and no. There's a little bit in between, but the distance is that close.
Mm-hmm.
Like 30-minute flight, boom, they're all here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, because you serve, you tell them to get up and get ready. It's like this. Yeah. You're not gonna see anybody like, oh shit, like can I get my coffee real quick? I was on my way back from Starbucks. So like, no, everyone jumps in a plane and they're gone within minutes.
Yep.
Within minutes, because that's what they're supposed to be trained to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, cool. That island is even further away than us, but they got there fast. So fast. So those that, I don't know about every conspiracy, but I do know that if you don't think that these people cannot be fully evil that are still here, let that ring in your mind. Like, this just happened 2 years ago. They removed elders. Imagine seeing your grandmas, your grandpas getting the full force of the military to come at them.
I'd go to jail, to be honest with you.
Yeah, a lot of them did. A lot of them did.
That's crazy, man. It just goes to show you that they're going to do everything they can in their power to strip people and to get after their end goal, their end game that they want to do. Like you said, they brought the freaking military. Like, what are you supposed to do? Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Yeah, what we did is we stood there and we're like, nope, still fuck you.
Yeah.
But, like, honestly, I don't even know if everyone got out of jail for that yet.
Wow. I mean, yeah, it is. It's only been 2 years. So you think it's a very unfortunate situation.
They could have kept people there just because. I mean, like, look what our government did. They chose a lesbian basketball player over a veteran.
Dude.
For an arms dealer.
Dude, this.
For a person of death.
Yeah. Literally killed, like, Americans. And they They brought her back. It's crazy. It's wild to me, bro. The thing is, I know that's like, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but a lot of people listening to this right now, if you are, you need to understand that she broke a law in another country, and it has nothing to do with the United States. But we left, I believe it was a Marine veteran over there.
Yes.
We left a Marine veteran over there that's been there for like, what, 4 years, wherever he's been at, trying to get him to come home. But what happened? He's not on the news anymore. Nobody cares. They dumped it. It's wild to me.
Yeah. And I honestly think there's probably people in Mauna Kea that got arrested and got treated the same way. A couple of years later, they're like, because like I said, we are in a place where it takes 2 to 3 jobs to survive. If you work 2 to 3 jobs all the time, how can you keep up with what's going on?
Yeah, that's a very rich lifestyle.
At that point, you can only choose media. You're very limited on your sources.
Mm-hmm.
You're very limited in expanding your mind, because like your whole world gets narrowed down to like, unless we do this, we will not survive.
Yeah, and they did it on purpose to you guys. They did the media ban around Lahaina so nobody can cover anything. And then you got Governor Green, who comes and tells everybody, don't listen to people on TikTok and social media. Listen to from your news sources. What news sources? Nobody can get in there and get the coverage. Like there's a guy that I told you earlier, Emerson Timmons. I'm going to be posting his videos. They sent me 9 videos. He gave me permission to post it. He was all over the news in Hawaii. You can look him up. He's all over the place. And they chopped his videos up and covered some of the stuff in his videos that he was trying to show and get out there. And they contacted me yesterday and gave me all the videos. And the thing is you guys are the ones that are there with your phones, the technology to be able to record live time and show the world what is actually going on. Because, yeah, sure, a lot of people go to the news for their media or try to get caught up on things, but nobody can get in there and cover it because they're banning people from the area. It makes no sense. 0 sense.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if you think about it from their point of view, it makes perfect sense.
Sure.
Nobody can talk if nobody knows.
Yeah.
They know knowledge is key. Like, these guys, they're smart. They realize, like, we're in an information war right now. And they're basically like smart, shitty salesmen. If you flood out the world with enough information, there'll be an overload at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the point where they're like, who do I ask questions to? Who knows specifically this? Who knows specifically that? Like, it's insane how good they are at it.
Yeah.
They know how to keep people busy, but the one thing I hope locals understand is, like, so when growing up here in Hawaii, they're not very big on teaching us about America.
Mm-hmm.
They're not very big about teaching us about our state, about us as a state, but they're very big about teaching us, like, hey, they took from you. Hey, they took from you. Hey, they took from you. Not all, hey, there's incredible opportunities to this. Just, hey, they took from you. Hey, these are the bad guys. Well, the funny thing about growing up and being told that is when you become an adult, who's the bad guys? Oh, whoever's in the White House. We don't know what a cabinet is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were to go around and ask locals, like, hey, what's the difference between House and Senate? Oh my God. And I know they do that on purpose. They don't realize, the House is for the people, the Senate's for the state. Wouldn't be able to make that distinction at all.
Yeah.
So, like, man, the education system over here is like just stupid fucked.
That sucks, man.
Stupid fucked. So, by them having that kind of power alone, that's what I mean by they're really good at making sure that, one, you're in fight mode, but don't know who to fight. So I really want locals to understand, like, it's our politicians. Don't blame the president. Don't blame, like, I mean, obviously our president's POS. Everybody knows
he's a
this.
puppet. Yeah.
But, like, we got to hold our politicians accountable. Our politicians.
Yeah.
Not them. Our politicians had a direct play in it. And if we focus on attacking them and force them to give us answers, we'll get some kind of movement. But if we're spreading our attacks thin and just throwing out things, hoping something sticks, you know, we're going to get exactly what we aim for.
Yeah.
And I really hope like locals understand this now. Like, hey, Mayor Mazie Hirono's been the senator for how long? Like, let's just use common sense at this point. There's a governor, there's mayor, senator, there's people to hold accountable. Like, let's just keep drilling them until they give us an answer. Because like the emergency guy, they said, oh yeah, he quit like a day after, a week after. Like, no, the dude quit almost immediately after he said, I do not regret.
Yeah, it was very silly.
I do not regret. And it's sure he doesn't live here.
Yeah, just gonna say he probably got hooked up with something and boot on the way he went. He's gonna be forgotten now because they're on to other things. So, yeah, it's definitely a lot to still discuss, and I mean, you know, definitely try to do like a part 2, and go over some more things, as this is like, you know, like you said, like earlier, it's like ongoing and it's not going to be forgotten. It's not one of those things where it's just going to be talked about one time and forget about it. Like I'm trying to, you know, I'm this one voice down here on the pole, but just trying to have like an outreach and contact people and let them know that, like, you know, this is not going to be forgotten. This is a big deal for you guys out there, and involving like sacred land and history for everybody. You know, it's ridiculous. I don't care if it's this big or you know, this big, like stuff like that doesn't need to be ran over, and people need to be protected. So, man, I appreciate you coming on here, man, and making this happen. The only and first local to come on here and be quick about it and go over things and give not only your opinion, but facts, talk about things that's actually going on over there that people need to open their eyes to. So, I mean, if, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to like part 2, if you want to do it, and we can kind of keep going on and talking about this. And again, man, I appreciate you coming on here, brother.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you letting us have a voice, but yeah, for sure. Next time I'm on, I'm going to spend more time talking to the hubs, and like really, I was really hoping that some of them could come and use this time for them to have the voice, because they're boots on the ground daily, not when they have free time.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, definitely. I'm going to make sure that I stay in touch with them, stay in touch with you. And we cannot let these, I hate to say it, but oh my gosh, actually, I do hate to say this, but there's way more disaster than I could even describe. Because when you hit record and stuff like that, I had so much stuff to say that like
it's cool,
half
yeah.
of it went back, because I was like, oh, where do I start? And then my head was kind of jumping all over the place. But man, I forgot to talk about this, and let me touch on it one time real quick, is the kids that are involved in this.
Yep.
School was let out early that day. Parents couldn't get to their kids. They couldn't call their kids. There was no power. The devastation that people are really feeling. Like, could you imagine being at work, finding out that your kid's in the middle of a fire and everyone and their mom is stopping you from getting in? That's the kind of grief that is circulating right now. And the fact that they won't even acknowledge that the kids are gone. Like,
they're refusing to touch base on it.
Yeah, like I want to say one more time, like if we know the police routes and we know police officers and we know the times that they do things, you can literally ask where somebody is on this island, and within hours, somebody will say, hey, they're right here. Within hours, a day most. Sometimes 2 if they stay in a house all day. But never weeks. By the time weeks have come in, someone's definitely dead.
Right. Yeah.
So like, I just wanted to point that out. Like, we can tell how many people are missing by asking enough times, hey, have you seen so-and-so? Enough days of hearing no, it's, you know what's going on.
Yeah.
And the fact that the media won't touch it, it's because they sent kids home that day. There were bus loads of kids in the middle of that. Bus loads. Just like, what, 30 kids per bus?
Yeah, 30, 40 kids a bus, yeah.
Yeah, you got like, what, 6 of them in there? And that's not including the tourists that were happened to be here with their kids.
Right.
Like, man. Yeah, I wanted people to know about that.
No, yeah, because I can also let people know too that like towards the end of it we talked touch base on a little bit of the children aspect, but then also for part 2 we can kind of ramp back up into it and then go further more into it, and then I could talk about that spreadsheet that I have and then anything else that has been transpired over the days coming, because that's a big thing too. A lot of people are trying to know what's going on with the kids, and what gonna do our best to try to cover that for them and kind of go over it or regurgitate information. So yeah, we can definitely bring that up in the second one, man. And yeah, it's all touchy, and it's all information that's coming on a daily basis that trying to get over through, but definitely doing a good thing here and just trying to help you guys out over there, bro. Like you said, giving you guys a voice, and just trying to help, man. It's the whole purpose. So
just having a voice alone is a big deal, because you can see how hard they'll try to shut down our voice, and there's no trooper or somebody from another state to come and be like, hey, are you guys doing your job?
Yeah.
No, they get free reign over here.
Yeah.
They get free reign. They get to lock us up, and then we get to be forgotten about. It's literally in our history.
Yeah.
So that's the battle we're dealing with. Like a real battle. So
yeah,
I hope people understand, like, yeah, there's great people in the world, there's good people in the world, but that does not mean bad guys don't exist.
True. Yeah. Well, we will touch base on this on part 2 for you guys. And again, if you guys have any questions, comments, put it down below. Let us know what you guys thought about this. If you guys have any questions about if there's some things we didn't talk about, or if you want us to talk a little bit more on part 2, again, subscribe, turn on notifications. We appreciate you guys. I have the Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So again, I appreciate people that are watching this and trying to get a true aspect of what's going on. And Kepa, thank you again, brother, for coming on here. And we'll try to get this video edited and published from my editor and get it out in the next coming days, and then that we can kind of schedule and kind of go and figure out what we're going to do for part 2 and just kind of go from there, man. I appreciate your time, brother.
Hey, right on, my brother. You have a good one.
All right, man. Thank you. Peace.